It's another week in the past. Fortnite OG, the season that let us travel back to 2018, has jumped forward once again to the events of Season 9 and Season X.
And the world is destabilizing fast.
The event countdown is now in the sky as Chapter 5 and the Big Bang live event approach. Fortnite's storyline is getting blown apart, and a LEGO crossover bigger than anyone expected is coming. We have a lot to get through, starting with the storyline. We've reached the final 10 days of Chapter 4 and our visit to the original island. This season was all about Jonesy being sent back in time to heist something or someone using a magical time machine we stole from an ancient vampire. Man, Fortnite is weird. Alongside that time machine are weekly recordings from Dr. Slone herself, who remained in the present. What became apparent each week is that her version of the future is changing. Ripples in time caused by Jones being here. Something as inconsequential as a Mario Kart banana skin could change reality in unexpected ways. Our Jones has not only reached the scientist's rocket, he's attached the time machine onto that intergalactic spaceship, and like usual, Slone has left a message.
Slone here. I've definitely left this message many times before, so get right to it, huh? This is the first time in countless lifetimes that I don't know what happens next. We're both heading off into the unknown. I guess this is goodbye for this me and that you. But we'll meet again. Reality's not done with us yet. Keep the campfires burning, Jones. Wherever and whenever you go.
This really does feel like the end of a storyline, doesn't it? Sloane's deja vu is down to the path Jones is taking. Even the smallest change in this time period ripples forward. The butterfly effect in real time. We saw this happen last update. I wasn't around because I was really ill, sorry about that. When Jones drove the time machine, but slid out and crashed into Loot Lake, forcing him to drag that machine across the water, which then caused the return of Kevin the Cube and his amazing flying powers. But did you take the time to look at the water underneath? There's a blue glow there. The 0 point is still here, as one Fortnite season is bleeding into another. It seems that the 0 point never cracked in this timeline, which means right now, in-game, both the cube and the orb are within touching distance. I really should bring up another faction we haven't spoken about in a long time, because they are within meters of controlling reality. That cube belongs to the last reality. Let's put a pin in that. I'll break that down in a lore video coming very soon. Meanwhile, the time machine is not only over to the scientist's rocket from Season X, it's now strapped to it. And let's take a moment to look at those straps. This has to be the weakest part of Jones's plan. An intergalactic time-traveling spaceship held together by duct tape and a bit of material. Perfect. And now we have a time frame for the interstellar heist, a not so subtle countdown above Dusty, counting down the seconds to blast off. Another huge update this week sees the meteor from Season X return, and once again it stood still, frozen in time, moments before it impacts. But wait, the impact is already there underneath it. The original crater from the Visitor is here, and the original meteor from the Scientist is here. This season is so full of time paradoxes, it's tough to keep up with. Anyway, on board that meteor is none other than the sleeping pod for the Scientist, the most lovable member of the Seven, an intergalactic group of peacekeepers with one purpose in mind: to free the 0 point and all of reality. You know, the thing that's literally out in the open right now, which anyone could take. When the Scientist first arrived back in 2018, he created that rocket which would locate the 0 point's position and ultimately find a way onto the bridge. But all that is quite redundant now. And that's where Jones comes back into the story. It's now his job to either deceive or convince the Scientist that he's from the future and he's a member of the Seven and he needs to help with the plan. That's a tough sell. I can't back this next part up with anything in particular, but what about instead of building the brutes from Season X, the Scientist builds a suit for Agent Jones, making him either somehow a reskin of the Visitor, or more likely, the Legend, the title he's wanted so very long since first joining the Seven's cause.
After all, they do call me the Legend.
Let's keep counting down the hours to launch. Another intrusive thought I have is that we may have all the clues in front of us already. The new lobby screen looks familiar to many of us. Cast your mind back to Season X and the 0 point cracking and exploding. For a few seconds there, we were trapped between realities, outside of time. I put it to you that that is what Slone's plan is, to exist outside of time and open up the Fortnite metaverse. No more 22-minute loops, no more IO, no more 7? Okay, I'm going too far down this rabbit hole. Pull me back out. Let's make sure we have the map changes for the season covered. I'm sure you've all experienced for yourself the return of the icy biome, but have you stopped off at Granny's house? Crackshot's cabin is back in the game in its OG style, and inside, the Christmas tree is already up and presents are here, a whole month before Christmas. Do me a favour, be honest, has someone in your household put up a Christmas tree already? Anyway, this ties into the opening cinematic for that very OG season. Thinking back, that was the season that Santa Claus became a bad guy in Fortnite. Did that story ever get finished? Like I mentioned earlier, the banana that caused Jones to detour through Loot Lake, creating the time anomaly there, remains in-game, just sitting here. There's also a little Easter egg to the merchant in Avatar, who would always have his precious cabbages and cart ruined by Team Avatar.
My cabbages!
I'm so lost on how many collaborations we've had in Fortnite. Has Avatar been in yet? Is this foreshadowing some airbenders? Elsewhere, we've seen the return of the pirate-themed stockades, complete with cannons, which are always broken when I use them. And did you notice the return of the ice sculptures in the snow? Very epic indeed. And have you noticed the bright light in the sky this season? I can't decide if it's always been there from day one, and I simply didn't notice, or it was added in last week's update. Please let me know your thoughts on this, and why it's here. And finally, Hut Watch! Well, what a bust this was this season. Our precious hut was never hurt, so it never had to rebuild itself. All season, it's just sat there. This timeline sucks. Epic Games have officially revealed the teaser image for the Big Bang event. Oh, and you've got to admit it does look like the space between realities we talked about earlier. On Saturday, December 2nd, we'll venture into Chapter 5. The event will be the biggest in Fortnite history and will feature a musical performance from Eminem, a new rhythm game mode, a racing mode linked to Rocket League, and a crossover with Lego. That's why we see a Lego llama sitting floating in space on the home screen. I don't know about you, but I absolutely adore Lego. Epic have stated the event will be unforgettable, so I think that's fair to say it won't be a horrible creative map like the last event a year ago. I still have nightmares about that one. The event will evolve all things as we know them, which should be story and lore related. And finally, a memorable reveal towards the end. Does anyone want to guess what that will be? I'm calling it now. Either the visitor will be unmasked as Jones or Donald Mustard, or Jones will finally become the legend. I'm legit hyped about this event. The event will support teams of 4, so be sure to get your squad sorted ASAP. Fortnite is changing yet again. Battle Royale will soon be only one small part of the whole experience. Rocket League, a permanent Lego mode, and a constantly evolving metaverse. 2018's version of Fortnite may be gone forever, but as a platform, Fortnite is here to stay. Have a great time at the event. I'm Adam, you're awesome. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.